Good evening from Vietnam. Good morning to you, Marina. Thanks a lot for spending your morning joining our program and sharing your amazing stories to our global audience. And on behalf of the listeners around the world, we want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We almost had our schedule for midnight last night for you. And that, I'm glad that I checked out with you before it so that we have the time readjusted. And thanks for being so flexible with me also, Marina. Okay.
And likewise, thank you. Thank you for accommodating.
And have you been traveling to Vietnam before?
No, I haven't. No, but I did live with a Vietnamese many years ago, 25 years ago. My flatmate was a Vietnamese. Yeah, Vietnamese. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
cool. Now you have a new family, new friend in Vietnam. If you decided to, travel to this part of the world, you let me know, and I would love to take you around. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
And since you have your flatmate is Vietnamese, then perhaps you know our culture a little bit. That it's very honored if we can have you to share to our audience who you are and the work that you do. Please do that first, Marina.
Thank you. For me, it's very important to walk the talk. And some time ago, I found that I wasn't walking that talk in my life. So I had everything. I have the dog, the children, the family, the house, everything. And something was missing. And what was missing was me. I was working since I was 15, and then I stopped to have children. And I lost my way there a little bit. And although I absolutely love being a mom, and I am a ferocious mom, I love protecting my children and looking after them, there was a part of me that was missing. I lost the meaning for me being here. I lost my purpose. I thought that, yeah, it was great being a mom, but I wasn't giving back to the community, to the world, and I knew there was something missing. Anyway, after a while of blaming people and the world, it's your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault. I have to sit down with myself and go, hang on a second, Marina, so you are the common denominator, so something is wrong here. So I stopped and I went on a retreat, and and that gave me the space to realize that I lost myself. And I managed to sort of go back all the way to myself again, to peel all the layers I built from conditioning. And then I thought, okay, if I can do that, everybody can do that. And to tell you a very long story short, I became very ill. So my mind was like, no, but you're fine. You're doing what you have to do. But my body was telling me, no, you're not happy. You need to do something else. So I became very, very ill. So I suppose it was, I became so ill one day I thought I was gonna die. And that moment, that's when I went to a retreat, peeled the layers back, and I thought, I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want anyone to go through what I've gone. And if I can sort of remember who I was, so everybody can do that. So I vow to forever, and this is a forever, to dedicate my time, my effort, my money, and my skills to support others on remembering the essence, on remembering who they are. And that's what I started doing. Then, so I started my practice first. Then after a while, I went and I got a certificate. Then I became an NLP trainer, an NLP master practitioner. And then out of the blue, again, I had that call that was telling me something you need to give. Okay, you're given to one-to-one clients. That's not good enough. You need to do something else. I had that voice that was telling me, you need to help more people, and here in the comfort of your home is not going to happen. You need to write a book. So I wrote my first book. That was called, it's called Balance, Living Life True to Yourself, because I think unless we live that life that is true to ourselves, there's always going to be something that is not quite right. For us to walk that talk, we had to be coherent. Our mind, our body, and our soul had to be in coherence, in harmony. And I had a It was great. Everybody loved it. I got great reviews. People really like it. It's very much a book for you to do things. I'm a coach, so it's a book for you to do a lot of things. It's like having a coach with you at home, you know. And then, so that was it. I was happy, came back to coaching, and then I noticed that the word AI came around. That was last year. And I thought, oh my gosh, now everybody's going to go towards that direction, you know, AI, the new shiny thing. What are we going to do? You know, everybody's going to get lost. So I noticed, so I just took time to reflect, what could I do? What was within my hands that I could do to support the world outside? And I noticed that within my world, there were types of leaders that they were having amazing, outstanding results. So I thought, I wonder why are they having good results? So as an NLP trainer I'm always looking for recipes. NLP is very much about modeling other people's things that work, modeling structures that work. So what I did is I interviewed 6 leaders from different parts of the world. So it was head of education, head of corporations, head of charity, head of a arts and dance contemporary company. I interviewed all of them, head of sport. And I noticed, so they told me the stories and the things, and I noticed that all of them, they have something in common. And that was the recipe. And I thought, okay, this is something I can do. I can put it all together and tell the world, yes, AI is coming. However, don't be a fool. You are even more powerful than AI. You got skills and you are baked in with such an incredible way that you have no competitor. So I put that recipe together, and what came about is that leaders who succeed, leaders who get outstanding results, they don't do it with control. They do it through passion, through love for one another, through compassion, empathy. They do it knowing in their hearts of hearts that they are nobody without their teams, you know, and that their teams are as important as they are. So they bring the structures down, and it's a very much united affair, you know. So this is what Leading with Soul is all about. It's a guide for leaders of any kind who want a new model of leadership, a model that is updated, a model that is in congruence with the time that they are coming, and one that we all must test and try and see what happens. Unless we do it, you know, we're all going to be trapped in the hands of technology, and we're all going to be doing what we've been told to do, and we don't have to.
Wow, beautiful. You introduce your life story and the passion, the love for giving back to other people, giving back to the community and onto the earth, right? In 5 minutes, that's not fair for us. So we are going to travel time. We want to know, you know, how you grow up. We want to know why you have, you know, what leading you to the path of you losing yourself, and how did you notice the callings and responding to that. So I'll lead the way. You follow me, okay? Okay. So we're gonna travel time. When I was little, I was born in a very poor community. If you travel to my hometown, and probably you're gonna go to that city is beautiful city, okay? And but it's very poor back then. And we had one night we had electricity. The next night we did not have electricity. So the only entertain for me during the nighttime. That has led to my first dream about the works that I would want to do badly is become an astronaut, because we saw the moon and we saw things outside, right? And I said, okay, if I can travel to the moon, and that will be beautiful. So I can see the whole universe, can see the whole world, right? So my wild dream at young age. And life took me to very different direction, Marina. and it kept taking me to very different direction along the way, right? So for you, what was your first dream about what Marina is going to offer to this world?
Oh, I knew it. I knew it at the age of 8.
Ah,
One day I was at the age of 8. I used to watch back in Spain. I'm from Spain. I used to watch this program every afternoon that had clowns, and it was like a circus clown. But it was like basically there were clowns that they were offering a show. They were singing and making children really happy. And I remember sitting down on the floor on my grandparents' dining place, and it was a television in black and white. And I was looking up at the television, and I saw these children being so happy. They were just happy. They had stars in their eyes. And I remember me saying, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I'm going to be a clown. Because clowns make people happy, and I am very jolly. So I know I can make people happy. I can give the people the tools and resources for them to be happy, because I'm got that contagious energy. So I was like, that's it. I'm gonna be a clown. I had that knowing, that resolution in me. And then 4 months later, I was watching an American film, and I saw a clown coming into his dressing room, and the wig was moving, the makeup was falling, he was crying, and he was smoking, drinking whiskey, and I was like, oh, that's horrible. I cannot be a clown, because clowns are not real, and I only can be something that is real. I have to walk my talk, so I'm not going to be a clown. So I ditched that idea, and it must have been a year later that I was back in Spain. I was in a nun school. My teachers were nuns, and they were asking money for the missions, and they were showing us videos of these black children with big bellies, and I remember me saying out loud, and I went to the teacher and talked to her, to the head nun. I said, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I'm going to be a missionary. And then she said, why? I said, because I know the children don't have a lot, but I do have tools that can make them, help themselves. I didn't know how, but I just knew it. And she said, okay, that's great, but you cannot get married and have children, because obviously she was seeing the world from her perspective, from her non-perspective, a religious perspective. And I was like, oh, no children, no husband. I don't want to be a missionary then. I want to have children and a husband. So I ditched that as well. And then I rebel against the nuns, because I could see a lot of incongruence. And I stopped studying, told my dad I'm not studying. And I worked in a clothing shop for many years, in a boutique. And I was happy there, because for me, people would come in one state, and they would live in a different state. And I knew they would live really happy. The time that was with me, not only they were happy in there, but I have the power to change their state of mind. So I don't know, because obviously at that time, the word coaching didn't exist. I didn't want to be a psychologist. I wasn't a profession that matched me, So I was happy for a while, until one day I heard a voice saying, it's time to move, go. And I was like, what? So I ignored it. I ignored the voice, because I thought, how ridiculous. Where would I go anywhere? And, I'm happy here. But I grew really dissatisfied with life. It's like that voice was telling me every time, you need to go, you need to move, you need to go. And I was like, why? I'm happy here. But that voice kept telling me. So one day, without thinking any further, I booked my tickets. Those times you would go to the travel agents to book your tickets. And I said to my parents, I'm going to go to England to visit my friend so-and-so. And I'm going to stay there. And everybody was like, what? What's the matter? Are you okay? I was like, yes, but I know I have to go. So I came to England and to visit my friends with no return tickets. I couldn't speak a word of English, nothing. And I spent some time in there. And after a year, I heard that voice again. Go. And I was like, okay, I told my girlfriend, I live in England. I'm not enjoying this place. I didn't come here just to wander around. This is not for me. And as I went, but I said to myself, before I go back to Spain, I'm just going to visit somewhere in England. So I bought a ticket. I went to Victoria Station, which is a train station. And I had a lady in front of me, one single ticket to Brighton, please. And the next thing that came out of my mouth was one single ticket to Brighton, please, which is where I live now.
Where?
Brighton in the south of England. Yeah. So all I said is one single ticket to Brighton, and I ended up here. And I remember I felt this energy in me, and I went, this is home. I'm gonna live here. And when I told my parents, everybody thought I was crazy, but I said to them, I need to follow my voice. I need to trust my intuition. And so I stay here. Immediately, I met my husband. And there you go. You see, I think it was all meant to be. And then I sort of lost that way a little bit because when I became a mom, and then that took me back to reconnect with myself. And then finally, that catapulted me to do what I was always meant to be doing, which is supporting people on the journey to become themselves, to recover the essence of who they are, and to remember who they are, so they can live happier, healthier, more fulfilling lives.
Wow. I'm throughout your story you just shared, there's one big themes in there. One big theme in there is that the theme of caring for other people's well-being, of health, of joy, and stuff like that. So I'm curious to know if that is something that coming from the way you nurture, so you grow up that way, or you know, or it's in nature. So your parents, your family, somebody already have that genetics inside of them that Marina also having it.
That's a very important question. I always been a different child at home. I was always a child that was happy. I was always a child that saw a full cup. You know, I have a large family. I'm one of six, and all my brothers and sisters are similar age. So that also helped to my well-being and happiness, because that meant I always have a lot of people to fight with, to play with. You know, there was always a lot going on at home, and life was fun. It was adventure. It was an adventure. It was really, really fun. Let me just put some light here. Yeah. So that, I suppose, that contributed to my happiness. I had a very easy. So I'm the middle child, which means I had older siblings who look after me. Didn't really have, you know. So, and then I have younger siblings to play with. So I was lucky. It was a combination of both. Definitely, I noticed I have been built very different, because I'm very different to my brothers and sisters. My sister always used to say, Mom, I don't take you to the school anymore because she stops on the streets and talk to everyone. She makes friends everywhere. And my sister doesn't like talking. And I would just talk to adults, to children. I always saw life as a friendly place. I never saw life as a place that you had to be scared of. Of course, I had a lot of people protecting me on the outside. I didn't know that. So I always walked with trust in life. And because I did, I always got that back. So I suppose it's a combination of both. It's nature and nurture, definitely.
By listening to you, I feel my energy is already like pump up already, Marina. So I was curious to know, what made that energetic girl on the path of growing up, on the path of, um, sharing joy and sharing happiness, starting to losing herself or along the way.
Yeah. When you become a mom, when I was working for many years, and then I became a mom, and which meant I was here alone at home all the time, and no one to talk to. I have no family around. My husband works 7 days a week, so I was really lonely. I think it was loneliness. That's what made me lose myself. Not sharing myself. I am a person that needs, I love sharing. I love sharing my food, my house, my friends, my everything. So it was a combination of loneliness, not being able to share who I was or everything I have to give outside. So it was like that bottle was filling up, and it was not going any direction. So it was getting just suppressed inside me. So I think that it wasn't obviously motherhood. It was that I stopped sharing my energy and I stopped sharing who I was, and I am here to share. And I'm here to share the expression of joy, the expression of who I am, the expression of who I think, of what I think. I've got a big voice, and all that was, in fact, one of the things I had when I became ill, it was that I have hyperactive thyroid, which is very much connected your throat with not speaking, with not saying what you think, with not saying your ideas. So I felt like a lot of ideas and hard connections and everything was just being bottled up until I exploded, and it exploded in form of illness. I had hyperactive thyroid, my hair was falling in masses, I have double operation on my knees. My knees, it just couldn't respond. I had carpal tunnel syndrome. What else? Terrible migraines. That it was terrible, really terrible. I felt just my whole body was aching and in pain, and I think it was my body expressing, it's saying, what are you doing? You are not to be contained. You are not to be alone all day long. You are not to be. Now it's funny because I do spend my days alone. Most of the time, less I have clients, and I spend it in silence, and I spend it inwards, where I can create a lot of ideas to later on, express them outwards. But at that time, I didn't know how to channel that. So for me, balance is very much, they always say we always teach what we need the most. So I needed to learn that balance between giving and taking. I needed to learn that balance between speaking and not speaking, between sharing and receiving, between being all the time like a funnel, like is giving light and receiving that light. I needed to find that balance, and that means I needed to be true to myself.
Wow.
Okay, it's about finding that constant, and this is like a rope. You're walking on that rope, and you think you are a master of it, but if the minute you take your eyes off it, you're falling, right? So that's what I think I needed to balance all that energy.
Wow. You need to teach us how to do that, right? Yesterday, I talked to many researchers from very, like one of the world top universities, and they shared about, like leadership today. A lot of leaders today are living in balance. They couldn't be who they are because of so many restrictions. And they have to wear so many different hats, and because of that they have to be playing so many different roles in life, and then they lost their soul, their minds, they lost themselves, and because of that, inside of them they're not happy, and because the internal is coming from not happiness, right? So they could not lead happily. They could not become the leader that people will follow and happy also. So it's a spiral of, like downward of different things. That's fine. Results looks good, sounds good, numbers good, but the culture, the souls, and everything we say differently, right? So how did you do the reinvention of yourself?
These are precisely my clients. My clients are people like what you're saying, people that they have lost themselves, like I did. They are all leaders. They all have a lot of clarity in their work, but the demands of life make them lose themselves on the way. And that's what did happen to me. I lost myself on the way because I forgot who I was. So how do you come back to yourself? It's first of all, silence.
Silence.
Space. You need this space. The only reason I was able, this is why I tell everybody, get a coach. Doesn't matter what you do for a living, because we all need a space, even if it is just to not to speak or to speak, but we all need a space that is sacred, a space that is for us. And we all need silence to take a step back. So how did I recover that zest for life again? Was, first of all, I make a space to hear my thoughts. Just took that time. I'm a doer by nature. I have learned not to do, right? So I was like, remember they said to me, you need to meditate. I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. How are you gonna sit down during the day and meditate? Nowadays I meditate 1 hour a day and I absolutely love it. And obviously you don't, and I used to think that's a waste of time. No, it's not. So go for walks, even if it is 5 minutes. Sit down in silence. Don't worry about meditating. Just sit down in silence. Do nothing, no phone, nothing. Just sit down with yourself until your body stops moving. Because for the doers and the thinkers, that is difficult. So master that first. Once you are able to be for 5 minutes with your own self, without having to run away somewhere, that's a big accomplishment. Then you start thinking, okay, then you need to start reconnecting with your younger self, with that part of yourself that is upset, that is hurt, that is being betrayed. So again, silence, close your eyes and go back to that 8 years old child that said, I know who I want to be. I want to be a clown. Right? So I went back to her person and I asked for forgiveness.
Oh.
And I said, I'm sorry. I betrayed you. You were talking to me all day long. And I thought life was more important than you.
Wow.
And you were knocking on the door when I put you inside the wardrobe. And I kept saying, shush. And I just ignored you and I moved on. And yes, I became productive. And yes, I was accomplishing things. But I also became miserable. And I also, because you were telling me, be careful with that one, and I was ignoring you. Be careful with the other thing, and I was ignoring you. Because that inner child knows everything. That younger version of yourself that is witty, that is fun, that is fresh, is full of intuition, is full of wisdom, because it's not thinking. She just is. And because he is, like children can see things at plain sight so quickly. So I went to that person and I said, I'm sorry. I promise to never forgive you, never forget you ever again. And from now on, we are going to walk hand in hand. We're going to go everywhere. And it does not matter who I am. I'm going to, in life, I'm going to honor you. And I'm going to be that person that you are within me in all spaces and circumstances. So I didn't have 10 faces, one for the outside, one no. I became the one face. And it does not matter who I speak. I cannot betray myself. You know? So honor that person is very important. What else I did? Obviously, yeah, becoming friend with yourself again, that takes long time because your body has a memory, and my body was upset, so I had to become friend with my body. I had to become friend with my inner self, with my mind, and then I had to reset my mind completely. And then I said, okay, let's start one by one. Let's reset our mind. What is my belief system at the moment? And whose belief system is that? And I figured out that
I'm writing down notes. Yes,
I
continue,
figured out
please.
that that wasn't my belief system. It was my parents, my country, my husband's, my society. That wasn't my belief system. So then I thought, okay, do I have to buy into these beliefs? No, I don't have to. So ditch those beliefs, reset, and start to make your own belief system again. And then I thought, okay, what is the belief system that's going to help me and take me further? So I started to write everything that I always believed when I was a child, that life is good, that people is not there to get me, the opposite is there to support me, that I have abundance everywhere, that I am unstoppable and I can do anything I decide so. So I created a very sort of new belief system, and I worked on that all the time. Then I work on my values. Okay, what do you value, Marina? What are the things which that's very much on my first book, Balance? It's all these things I'm telling you. I said, okay, Marina, what are the things that wherever you go, it doesn't matter which country, let's say Half says to you right now, Marina, you come to Vietnam and I give you £1 million. You come here to work, I give you £1 million, but you cannot smile or you cannot be yourself or you cannot be loud or laugh. Then I would say, I'm sorry, but I can't take it. So what do I value? I make an invisible suitcase and I put all of these things in my suitcase. So I value laughter, I value integrity, I value trust, I value food and family and fun. Everything that I value, I put it inside that suitcase and it's always next to me. So
Wow.
I never forget and I always tell my clients, if you're working for a big corporation and they're telling you to do that, look on that suitcase before you betray that suitcase.
Wow.
Because if you put in compromise one of these things, yes, you're going to function, but you're going to be like a robot. Your soul is going to die like a plant, and you're going to notice it sooner or later. Your body is going to warn you with a lot of signals, like it did to me. And your mind is going to warn you with a lot of signals. And everything in your life that you think is so cool now is going to start falling apart because you are betraying one of these values. So I have an invisible suitcase full of values, and they always come with me. I have a strong belief system, okay? I have made peace with my inner self, with my younger self. I've asked for forgiveness, okay? What else have done? I made a space for myself every day. Instead of, yes, I could earn way more money, but instead of doing that, I know that I cannot compromise that because that's good for my creative being. That's me adding water to my plant every day. So I honor that as well. And what else is missing? So I work on my values, my belief system, my inner self. Oh, okay. And then the final part, the most important part, cover all your needs yourself. So the things that happen to us is because we are expecting somebody to cover these needs for us. For example, let's say you get, what I did in the middle of me being ill, I was betrayed by a friend. And I noticed at the beginning, you guys have fault, she's horrible, everything outside, right? And when I sat with myself, I realized it wasn't her fault. That has only happened to me because I was lonely and I was expecting her to cover my needs.
Oh.
So if you want a strong self-esteem, if you want to have a strong trunk, you need to give yourself everything you expect people to give you. So you are your own responsibility.
Wow.
You are not even your parents' responsibility. You are your responsibility. So don't expect your husband to tell you you're beautiful to feel beautiful. Don't expect your girlfriends to give you that love, to feel loved. Don't expect you know, your parents to tell you that they love you, to feel the love. So the most important part is by definitely is to start going through everything that we expect everyone, all the little holes that we expect everyone to cover, and to do that for ourselves.
So instead of giving our love, our life, our future, our happiness, our everything, you know, to someone else and give it to their hands, right? So they can decide what to do with that. Now we take everything back and it's all from us. Wow, beautiful.
The
Marina, my
results
wife.
are the results are amazing, huh? Because when you give yourself love, people notice that, and then you become a magnet for these people that you want them to give love to you too. So when your children see that you are loving yourself, that you are respecting yourself, that you know, they give themselves permission to also do that themselves. When your husband sees you that you are not desperate for attention because you are giving that attention to you, he feels respect for you. He feels like he looks at you, and you, in his eyes, you become more appealing, more sensual, more sexy. Why? Because you are not desperate. And then everything flows, and you give them the permission to do the same as well. So you're healing, and at the same time, you're healing everyone as well.
Absolutely. Because you're becoming the source of energy that can spread to so many people outside of you. And you know, when people faking to be happy and people truly happy can easily see. You know, people outside are not stupid. They can easily see if a person is, you can see through, right? Like see through. Yeah. And Marina, my wife and I, we've been on the quest to help people to improve their ability to think. And your story is very inspiring. We want to ask you this question. How have you been growing your ability to think with all of the changing happening in your life in the positive way?
Yes, I love your questions. Well, when you are well from the inside out, when you spend the time, when you are busy, when you are all the time looking outside, you can't think because it's this head is too busy and it's like scarring like everything around with it. But when you work on the inside out and you become that strong, sturdy tree with a strong foundation, then you become that sovereign being that say, okay, they are saying this and they are saying that. Wait a second, I'm going to think about that. You become a thinker because you know you deserve that space in life. So
Mhm.
how do you become, your ability to think improves when you love yourself, when your self-esteem is strong, your ability to think improves because you are not owning that space. The people that they are not strong, they think they are not owning that space. But when you are strong and your self-esteem is strong, you got the right to be in that space like anyone else. It doesn't
Ah,
matter what your title says. So, and then not only that, you feel like you are sovereign being and you are in the right place. Not only that, when the world starts sending you things, you go, shh, don't think so. You push them out. You push them out, you make a space and you say, let me, that's great and that's great, but I'm gonna check with my mind, my body, and my soul. Let's see what it says. So how do you become a better thinker? You become a better thinker when you know you own the space. You don't feel like you in borrow space anymore.
wow. Two last question for this conversation. Okay. Uh, I believe that what you do to helping people, to writing your books, to sharing your works and everything that you do is not only to make people happier, not only to help people to bring back the child within them, the dream within them, but to help them to build something sustainable for the future, for themselves, for the people next to you also. 2 months ago, my wife and I, we bought a website that we did not know what to do with that yet. And we need to have your expertise. And the website is called a sustainabilitymind.com. So we want to help people to have the mindset of sustainability for the world, but also for themselves, right? So if you want to do something sustainable, you have to have that kind of mindset. So in your own word about sustainability, mind, what is up to you?
The people that I know that they do really well are not the ones that work the hardest, are the ones that they're sustainably growing. Why they're sustainably growing? Because they're walking the talk. They're doing something that they can sustain in time. I can run one day, but I cannot run every day because it's out of, I don't like it, my muscles are not ready. So how do you become sustainable? By being true to yourself. You can do something that is not true one day, but you cannot do it every day. So you have to be very honest and figure out what you're good at and what you're not so good at. And what you're not so good at, get the help. And what you're so good at, enhance it. You can only become sustainable when you're walking that talk daily. Otherwise, you start betraying yourself and then the signals come very quickly. So I would say walk that talk by figuring out, by living that life that is true to you and using your natural gifts and expertise to enhance whatever you're doing and get the rest, the other people to do for you the rest.
The last question is, I want to travel time with you to when you sat down with your grandpa, watching the black and white TV, saw the cloud there, right, and wanted to become a cloud. And let be at that moment. So you and me will open that door, walk into that door, and you're gonna talk to you on the floor and your grandfather about your future, the work you do, anything that you want to share to those two. What is that Marina now gonna tell them?
Oh, I would tell my grandpa, I would tell the clowns on the TV, thank you. Thank you for planting that seed in me and for giving me the awareness of who I wanted to be.
Oh.
And I would say my grandparent, I always feel him a lot. I would say to him, this is just the beginning. There is so much to do, and I'm more ready than ever. I now have the skills. I now have the stories that back me up. I now have the power to merge it all together. And I would tell him I will be teaching leaders probably until I die what sovereignty means. I will be teaching leaders that they don't have to work harder, they just have to be themselves and trust that they have the skills, but not only the skills, the life force and to make it happen, that they have the power to change the world that we all do, and that if they believed in that, if they believe in that, they will change it. So I see myself in the future going to, like I already do, going to seminars, going to conferences, giving conferences. I see myself going to somehow the United States. I've got a lovely project at the moment, doing workshops and seminars and things like that. So who are my clients, leaders? Why? Because everything starts with them. If you, I don't know if you have children, but as a mom or a dad in a house, if you're well, your children are well. If you're not well, they are not well. So if they have a leader that sees that they trust himself or herself, you know, if they have a leader that is compassionate, that is empathetic, that is vulnerable, that is walking the talk, people are going to work more. They're going to be happier. And, they're going to produce more because happiness produces. People think that if you're happy, you're not going to produce. The opposite. When people are happy, they are more productive. So that's what I see myself doing. I see myself, Grandpa, watch this space because this is very much a beginning. And from that onwards, put your trainers on because we are running. We are going to change this world from a leadership that is obsolete old rancid to a leadership that is fresh, that is committed, that is passionate, and that they know it's not about competition. It's about making a space for everything and everything, and being that container.
Beautiful. As I have two, but I have 3 more minutes to ask the last question. Okay. Can you spare for me for one last question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. If there is one skill that you think everyone on earth should master and they should focus on learning and using and mastering today, what would that one is, Marina?
Intuition.
Intuition.
Intuition. Trust your intuition. You already know everything. You already got all the resources within you. It's just that you're not listening. So you get lost all the time. You're always looking outside. When you look, go back in and listen, truly listen. You have that voice within you that knows everything and is never going to fail you. Never. So the skill for all of us to master, I mean, there's many skills, but one of the most important one that will make things a lot easier is listening to your inner voice.
Wow. Beautiful. We love you from Asia and we look forward to one day to see your family here. I know that you have an exciting project in the US, so enjoy it. Enjoy to spread your works, your newness, your ideas, your books, your laughter, your joy, your happiness, your energy. Bring it everywhere, not just the US. Bring to the Africa, bring to Asia, bring to Oceania, bring everywhere because that is what needed most now, Marina. All right, this is what needed most every day, all days. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for doing the same. You guys are doing the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day and say hello to your family for us, please. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.